In the ancient kingdom of Rajapur, where monsoon clouds rolled like slow chariots across the sky, there lived a princess named Namita. She was a girl with a quiet heart but a restless soul, admired for her grace, yet whispered about for her solitude. The elders believed spirits dwelled in its sprawling roots. Namita, however, believed nothing, until the night the tree spoke her name. A soft breeze curled around her ear, a whisper carried on the still night air. Namita, she froze, her heart hammering against her ribs. The branches above her trembled, even though not a single leaf stirred elsewhere. From the deep shadow beneath the banyan, a figure began to emerge, tall, shimmering, and not entirely solid, as if woven from moonlight and mist. His eyes glowed like twin embers trapped in gold. "Do not fear," he said, his voice gentle, like the hushed sound of wind through ancient stones. "My name is Aravan, Prince of the Jinn." Namita felt her breath catch in her throat, not in fear, but in a strange, sudden sense of recognition, as if her soul had been waiting for a voice it had never heard before. From that night on, Aravan visited her every evening, appearing with the moonlight and vanishing with the first rays of dawn. He painted pictures with his words, telling her of the hidden realm, a world of drifting islands that floated on a sea of clouds, of sapphire rivers that defied gravity and flowed upward, and of Jinn whose laughter echoed like 1,000 tiny bells. In return, Namita shared with him the simple, vibrant tapestry of human existence. She spoke of the joy found in music that makes you want to dance, the beauty of art that captures a fleeting emotion, the chaotic energy of festivals, and the quiet, mortal warmth of everyday life. A bond began to form between them, fragile at first, like a spider's thread, but soon growing into something fierce and unbreakable. But their connection was a dangerous secret. The silent banyan, a guardian of ancient ways, did not approve. The Jinn elders, bound by rigid decrees, did not approve. And the royal court, with its human laws and prejudices, would surely never approve. Jinn and humans were never meant to love, their worlds were separated by an impassable veil. Still, one moonlit night, as Aravan reached out his shimmering, ethereal hand, Namita placed hers inside it without a single moment of hesitation. The instant their fingers touched, the gust of warm wind spiraled around them, rustling the banyan leaves into a frantic whisper. This was no ordinary touch, it was a pact, a connection that sealed what the Jinn call a heart promise, a bond that transcends realms. But secrets as profound as theirs are like stars, they cannot stay hidden in the darkness forever. One night, as they met beneath the banyan's branches, a blinding flash of silver fire erupted from the ground at the base of the tree. From the flames, the Council of Jinn materialized, their bodies swirling in luminous, angry storms. Their leader, Al-Zahraa, fixed his gaze on Aravan, his voice thundering like an approaching storm. "You have broken the ancient decree," he boomed. "A Jinn prince cannot bind himself to a mortal." Aravan immediately stepped in front of Namita, shielding her with his own shimmering form. His voice, usually so gentle, was now firm and defiant. "I choose her." The elder's eyes narrowed, becoming pinpricks of cold, distant starlight. "Then you shall lose her." Before Aravan could react, Varrock raised a staff carved from petrified lightning, releasing a spiral of dark, binding magic. Namita felt an invisible force pull her backward, away from Aravan, away from the world she knew. It was a cold, relentless grip, tearing her from the fabric of her own time. She screamed his name, a sound of pure anguish. He roared hers in return, a cry of helpless fury. But it was too late. The curse landed. Namita was trapped not in a physical prison of stone and iron, but in a prison of time itself. She was placed into a deep, enchanted slumber beneath the silent banyan tree. 1,000 years could pass, and she would not age, not breathe, not even dream. She was a statue of a memory, frozen in an endless sleep. Aravan was left to wander the mortal world alone, a grief-stricken immortal, searching for a way, any way, to break the curse and bring her back. And so, Aravan's long search began. He journeyed through every known Jinn realm, his heart heavy with a sorrow that time could not ease. He crossed forgotten deserts where the sand whispered tales of lost magic and wandered through remote, monk-guarded temples hidden high in the mountains, seeking any scrap of knowledge, any hint of a ritual that could free his love. Decades melted into centuries. The kingdom of Rajapur changed, its palaces crumbled and were rebuilt, its dynasties rose and fell. But still, Namita slept on, untouched by the passage of time. And still, Aravan searched, his hope a flickering candle in the storm of 1,000 years. One night, as the monsoon season once again descended upon the land of Rajapur, Aravan returned to the silent banyan. He knelt beside the slumbering princess, his form now weary from ages of wandering. Rain soaked his hair, and the sky above cracked open with lightning, illuminating her peaceful, frozen face. He leaned close, his voice a broken whisper. "Wake up, my heart." And then, something impossible happened. For the first time in centuries, the banyan leaves trembled, not from the wind, but from a surge of ancient power. A single drop of rain, falling from a leaf above, landed on Namita's forehead. But it wasn't just water, it glowed with a faint, ethereal Jinn fire. The breaking of this ancient law was a summons. The Jinn elders appeared once more, their forms crackling with indignation. Varric snarled, his voice dripping with contempt. "You still defy us." This time, Aravan didn't cower or plead. He slowly rose to his feet and faced them, his eyes filled not with fear, but with a quiet, unshakable resolve. "I defy only the cruelty that calls itself tradition." He turned back to Namita, placed both of his hands on her chest, and offered the one sacrifice no Jinn prince had ever made. The one thing that defined his very being, his immortality. Golden flames erupted around him, engulfing his shimmering form. His body flickered, dimmed, and then solidified, becoming human. The light of the Jinn prince faded, and in its place stood a mortal man. In that same instant, the curse shattered like glass. Namita gasped awake, as though breaking the surface of deep water after a long time submerged. When she opened her eyes, Aravan was kneeling before her, no longer a glowing, ethereal being, but a man with storms of love and centuries of sorrow in his eyes. She reached out a trembling hand and touched his face, feeling the warmth of his skin for the first time. "You came back," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "Across lifetimes," he answered, his voice raw. "I would always come back." The Jinn elders watched, stunned into silence. They vanished into a final crack of thunder, powerless to punish a prince who was a Jinn no longer. Namita helped Aravan to his feet and led him back to the palace, where the kingdom awoke to a miracle: the return of their long-lost princess and the arrival of the mysterious stranger who had saved her. Their wedding was not a secret whispered in the shadows, but a glorious festival that lasted for 7 days. The air was filled with the scent of incense, the streets were draped in silk banners, and music echoed through the valleys, celebrating their impossible love. For the rest of their lives, they taught their kingdom and the world a simple yet profound truth: love is older than the oldest tree, stronger than the most powerful magic, and braver than the most ancient laws. And even today, if you stand beneath the silent banyan, you might hear the winds whisper their story, a tale no historian ever wrote down, and no bard ever sang, yet one that drifts through the land like a forgotten, beautiful blessing. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales from beyond the veil.